Dear listeners, my name is Anthony Clark.
And I'm Melanie Clark.
And we are
The Amazing Clarks.
We're both award-winning certified life and love coaches and a husband and wife duo that have been coaching together as a team for 24 years and that have been passionately in love for 32. They call us the Amazing Clarks because we empower people to live amazing lives.
And we're here to help you get from where you are to where you want to be in life and love. Love the Amazing Clarks is our personal love letter to all of you that love as much as we do.
That's right. So let's get this party started.
Yes.
Today we have another amazing episode for you guys. Today's main topic is parenting adult children. How do you parent adult children?
That's a good one.
Yeah, they're not kids anymore. They're not teens anymore. They are adults. Big difference. So we're going to talk about all that and more. But before we jump into the main topic, it is time for the listeners' letters.
Yes.
Now, this is the segment where you guys, this is your opportunity to send any questions that you have about life, relationships, love, dating, you name it. Send them to us and we will answer them live on air in this segment. Melanie, what is the listener letter of the day?
So today our listener letter comes from Morris out of New York, New York. And he says, I'm a 22-year-old single man looking for a girlfriend. But I'm realizing that most people my age aren't looking for a serious relationship. They're more into their friend circle and bestie dates. It's starting to get depressing. I really want to settle down and start to think about my future. Do you think I'll be able to do that with someone my age, or will I have to look to millennials? Why are Gen Zers valuing friends over romance?
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Interesting.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
First of all, I have to kind of chuckle.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Chuckle.
Right.
And the reason that I had to chuckle is because, first of all, because we coach so many people, we know that there are many people of all ages that want to get married.
Yes.
And I think that he's getting trapped into the belief because of society trends and what people are talking about, that he's buying into the perspective that the younger people don't want to get married.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe not as much as in the past, but I truly believe that there are plenty that want what he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And so first I would start by stop telling that story, because
Mm-hmm.
that story is what's going to help create it. And it's going to become his truth. And then it's going to be almost impossible for him to find what he wants. So what you want does exist. There are many people, many women that want it as well. And once you change your perspective, then be willing to get out of your circle, get out of your comfort zone, go maybe into a different region, make different groups of friends and networks. Yeah. You'll be drawn to where what you're attracting is, and it'll be drawn to you. But it starts with you changing your perspective. And it sounds like you're losing faith. And I always say a dream without faith is like a bird without wings. It ain't going to fly.
Yeah.
And so you got to give it the wings. You got to keep faith alive and know that what you want exists, and you'll attract it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my perspective.
It's interesting because my first thought was, you're only 22. Like, you have so much time to find your person. And whenever I deal with young people, I always think about, I love my brain science, right? So I always think the human brain is not fully developed till you are 25 years old. So trying to find your partner, your life partner at 22 is a little early. And I get wanting to have, a girlfriend. That's all great. But this is a time in your life to be meeting different people, building your preferences, learning about yourself, learning about what you need in a partner. And it reminds me of this one time I was working with a young lady, Rosie. I love my Rosie. And Rosie was 24 and she's Hispanic. And I remember all her sisters and brothers were married. And her parents were wondering when she was going to get married. And there was all this pressure. And every day Rosie would come to work and be so worried about getting married. And I would always tell her this: it's going to happen at the perfect time for you. You can't control this. You are still young. Enjoy your life. Have fun. Hang out with your friends. It's going to happen. And within a year, Rosie met her husband, who ended up being her best friend's brother, that she went to concerts with, that she hung out with, that she spent all of her time with. She ended up marrying her best friend's brother. And to this day, they are married. They have 2 kids. They're living a great life. And that's how it happens, people. Don't get stuck in the it's not here now. So that means it's not going to happen. Love and relationship and meeting people can happen any second. So you just have to keep reminding yourself, my person could be right around the corner, and I'm so excited to meet them. And wait till you're at least 25. Spend the next 3 years building your preferences. I think, me personally, I think 22 is way too young to be getting married because marriage requires work and maturity, and it always ain't easy. And you have to have some maturity and some discernment to be able to stay in it and be successful. So take your time, baby. Take your time. That's my advice.
Good advice. Good advice. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
I agree with that. And since there's no absolutes in life,
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be cases, it may not be the norm, but if you're
Mm-hmm.
one of those people that's like, you know what, I'm younger, I know for a fact I'm ready,
Yeah.
you may be. You
Yeah.
may be. And if that's the case, then you'll attract it. So
Yeah.
you don't have to worry about it. But I agree overall with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Good job. And if that individual had good parents that could give him good advice, then maybe that would help.
Oh, I feel
Which
a
is
segue
the
coming on.
perfect segue. All right, let's do it. Okay, guys, so don't forget, if you got questions that you guys want us to answer live on air, send it to our listener letters and leave it in the show notes below.
Yes.
Okay, so back to the main topic, parenting adult children. How do you parent adult children? So, it's like most people have a hard enough time parenting young children, toddlers and teens. And so now you're moving into adulthood. How do you make that work? So I'm going to let you go ahead and run with this, Melanie, since you are the one that came up with this topic.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to talk about this topic is coached an awesome couple this weekend, and they came to us because they have a blended family. One of the people in the relationship, the mom, is a stepmom, and dad had, I think, 3 kids, and they're teenagers and young adults. And they came to coaching because they thought they had a communication problem. But the problem wasn't really a communication problem between them. It was a communication problem between their children and them, which was causing them to have issues with each other. And I wanted to talk about this on the podcast today because I know a lot of people struggle with this, especially with blended families, right? So what happens is when our children are small, we get to create their reality. And what I mean by that is we tell them what to think, we tell them what to watch on TV, we tell them what to eat. We literally have complete control over their reality for the most part. We're directing their life. We're
Right.
telling them who they are and how we want them to be. And they have to go along with us because they're little people and they just go along.
Right.
But then as they grow up, they go through a stage where they want to start creating their own reality. They want to have more say in what they think and where they go and what they do.
How dare they?
How dare they, right? And so this is happening as part of nature. It's not a personal attack on the parents. It's happening because they're testing their ability to make decisions. They're testing their ability to be self-sufficient outside of the tribe of their own family. But what I've found is no one teaches parents this. So as I call it the chest puffing up happens, right? Like they hit a point where it's like the chest puffs up. They're like, no, I don't want to do what you say. I want to do what I want. And parents, we've all been programmed to see that as disrespect. You're disrespecting me. You're talking back to me. You're not listening to me. And so the reaction is a pushback. And by doing that, we're literally saying to our young adults, I don't trust your ability to make decisions for yourself. I don't trust you. That's how they take it. They take it like, you don't trust me. So they're going to keep pushing. So, what I want to talk about today are some ways that parents can meet young people where they are, teens where they are when the chest starts puffing, right? And then how to manage that relationship moving forward because it continues as they get older. And even when they move out of the house, like a lot of young adults complain, my mom annoys me. I don't want to deal with her, or I don't want to talk to my dad because I'm annoyed. And most of the time for adults, it comes down to they are still trying to parent me. They still talk to me like I'm a little kid. They're still trying to control my reality and tell me how to live my life. And I don't want that.
Very true. Very true. So let me ask you, how old were you when you started your chest puffing?
I think I was probably 14.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think I was about 14 when I decided like I'm gonna do what I want to do, and you don't get to control my life anymore, parent.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna find a way to do it, and I don't care what you say because I want to be in charge of me now.
And how did your parents respond to that?
Uh, Not well. One of the things that my mom tried to do that just didn't work. Well, there are a couple things that she tried to do. Number one, she tried to control who my friends were.
Hmm.
She told me certain people in school that I could not hang out with. She forbid me to hang out with friends. So I just snuck and did it. I still hung out with my friend that she didn't like, but I just snuck and did it.
Hmm.
What else did she try? At one point, she sent me to go live with my dad. She shunned me. She sent me away because she couldn't control me.
Hmm.
That didn't work out. I did the same thing at my dad's that I was
Right.
doing with her
Of course.
because I was trying to figure out me. I was trying to learn about parts of myself that they were trying to control. So it didn't work. And if they would have maybe talked to me about it and asked me what I was going through, I could have explained to them, which I tried, about what I was going through, but they were not able to hear me. How about you? How old were you when you start puffing your chest, Anthony? Or did you start puffing your chest?
Uh,
Maybe you didn't. I mean, you're pretty together, so maybe you've always just been that guy.
you know, my father wasn't around. My stepfather was around until I was about, I think about 16.
Mhm.
And I didn't puff up then. I think I did on my mother at about 17.
Uh-huh.
But it wasn't in a disrespectful way. It was just her letting her know that yelling and screaming at me is not cutting it.
Yeah,
And I think she kind of got it. So we didn't have to really get into any, drastic confrontation.
right.
She just kind of sensed it, like, oh, okay, he's a grown man.
Yeah,
He's not playing that. I don't
he's
gotta
growing
do that.
up.
Yeah.
Good for her. Good job, Gene.
Um, and then I think what really helped is that at 17, I moved 3,000 miles away on my own
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that
to
was
get
helpful.
away. So that really helped because I'm sure if I would have stayed around, it would have
Oh,
been bad.
conflict.
Yeah. So yeah, that was about the time for me. And but I think that when it comes to parents, I think the first step is to realize that, like you said, when they're little, we're putting in the
Mm,
programming and they
yeah,
have to obey us because they depend on us
yeah,
and they need us for guidance and survival. And so they'll submit and they'll run with it. They don't know better.
yeah.
But then we got to take into account that even though they appear younger than us physically, don't mean that they're younger than us.
Ooh, good point.
These are spiritual beings that have been here many, 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 many times,
Mhm.
and we don't own them.
Nope.
We're just a conduit and the guides in this journey, but we don't own them.
Yeah,
Um, they're their own individuals, and they came to this world for a certain purpose and to be a certain way. And I guarantee you, it wasn't to blend to be like everybody else. It's like our fingerprint's unique. No one's ever had a fingerprint. Nobody ever will. So
yeah,
likewise, our way of being here, how we are, how what we contribute is going to be unique if we do it correctly.
yeah,
So that information is in their DNA. So when they're little, it hasn't unfolded yet. But at a
yeah.
certain age, it starts to unfold. And then who
Mhm.
they really are starts to kick in.
Right?
And now it's kind of this balancing act between who you programmed me to be,
Yeah.
but who I really am and who I'm feeling
Mhm.
drawn to be. And there lies the conflict.
Yep.
And then as parents, it freaks us out because it's like, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Where the hell did you come from? What happened to my little baby that just used to be so sweet and kind?
My sweet baby that did
Yeah,
whatever
they
I
used to do
said.
everything I said.
Mm.
Now, all of a sudden, you got your own thoughts, you got your own ideas, you got your own perspectives.
Right.
You're telling me I'm wrong. You're standing up to me.
Mhm.
And of course, that's going to piss us off because that goes against our traditional programming as
Yeah.
parents.
Yeah.
But if we can start off with the starting point that, you know what, this is a spiritual being just like me. I don't own the spirit. The
Mhm.
spirit has been around as long as I probably have been around. So I'm here to guide and support, not to rule, not to control.
Yeah.
And you want them as kids to start tapping into that side of them. So you want
Yeah.
to kind of nurture that
Yeah.
individualism and them tapping into their own internal guidance system.
Yeah.
So I
I
think
agree.
that I would start with that as
Yeah.
far as how can you start moving them? How can you start moving towards being a better parent?
Yeah.
This September, join St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in honoring Sickle Cell Awareness Month. With one of the largest sickle cell programs in the country, St. Jude is leading the way the world understands, treats, and defeats life-threatening diseases like sickle cell disease.
Together, we can bring hope and healing to children around the world. Visit stjude.org/The Amazing Clarks and become a partner in hope. Again, visit stjude.org/The Amazing Clarks and help St. Jude save even more kids. Well, I always like to say when they're little, it's our opportunity to pour the good stuff in, right?
Right.
Like to really build their self-esteem, to build up their character.
Hmm.
But then at some point we got to step back and give them space to
Yeah.
use everything that we poured into them.
Hmm.
And I think that's where the parents a lot of times don't realize like you got to back up a little bit. And it's during those teenage years where they become rebellious. They're going through puberty, their brain is forming more, so they're expanding.
Hmm.
They need that. They need approval from their peers.
Hmm.
They actually even have a part of their brain that makes them more reckless in their teen years. Like there's a
Hmm.
part of the brain that literally is like, try stuff, try scary stuff, try stuff that's gonna freak you out. If you ever notice teenagers stand around, like they'll try to jump a bike through a burning hoop or something, and everybody's laughing, and adults are like, oh my God, why would you do that? Right?
Hmm.
It's because that part of their brain that says, like, hey, that's really dangerous. Don't do that has not formed yet. The part of their brain that says, hey, that looks crazy. Try it
Yeah.
is still running the show.
They don't think of
They
consequences.
don't think of consequences. So as parents, we're watching and we're like, wait, we got to protect them and we got to control their decision making. And that pushes them away from us.
Hmm.
So some of the things that we teach our clients is you want to give them choices, right?
Hmm.
So parenting young people goes from control to this is what you do to now choices. If you do this, this will happen. So you could do this or you could do that.
Yeah, it's
And
gonna.
then giving
Yeah,
them the opportunity to choose one or the other is really helpful
yeah,
for their growth and the relationship that they have with you.
yeah. It's very similar to like when it starts off, it's a dictatorship,
Mhm.
and then you have to transition into a democracy.
Right.
So that could be a little challenging for any person or
Uh-huh.
country.
You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
True
yeah.
story. I know people who are grown. Okay. When I say grown, I'm going to say over 40, right?
Right,
That their parents still want to treat them like their children.
right.
And that's not the fault of the parents. Parenting changes when your children grow up, and no one really ever taught us that it changes. We think we're in charge forever.
Right.
And then our adult children are like, wait a minute, I'm grown,
Hmm.
right? They'll have that conversation with you.
Yeah, very
So, do
true.
you have tips? Like, let's start with the young people, like with teenagers. What are some of the things that you would recommend people can do to start allowing your teenagers to start making some decisions and encouraging them to grow up? Because people, let me tell you this, you want them to grow up. I know you think you want to be in control, but if you're in
Yeah.
control of your teenagers, they will be adults sleeping on your couch at 40. So, this is the time in your parenting journey
Hmm.
to encourage them to make decisions, encourage them to do things without you.
Right. I think that one of the things that becomes challenging for parents
Mhm.
is that once they get to the point where they're even considering, letting go to some degree
Mhm.
and giving the child more giving them more slack for the rope.
Mhm.
But then a child, a teenager, even young adults, they tend to want the best of both worlds. It's
Oh,
like,
that's a
I'm
good point.
independent. Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
I need money. Can I borrow the keys? I need help. Can you do this? Help me with that. Help me
Will
with
you make
this.
me a sandwich?
Right. Make me a sandwich. I'm hungry. I need my laundry done. Can you do this? Can you do that? And I
Yeah.
need this paperwork. And then as soon as you tell them something else, don't tell me what to do. How
Uh-huh.
dare you tell me? I'm a grown up. And
Yeah.
so it's kind of, confusing for the parent.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want me to let go or do you not want me to let go? If I let go
Mhm.
sometimes too quickly, then you tend to come back and go, you
Yeah.
don't care about me. That's why you don't ask, you don't get involved, you don't ask what's you don't care. But then if you jump
Yeah.
in there and ask questions like, why are you being nosy? Why are you trying to control my business? Why are you trying to
Yeah.
so there's a delicate balance. And I think that going into it as a parent, if you have an idea of what you might run into, when you run into it, it's not as traumatic or shocking
Yeah, that's true.
because there's some expectation there, which helps you to deal with it.
Mhm.
So the first expectation would be that this is an individual. This is a spiritual being. Their
Yes.
DNA is going to unfold eventually, and it
Mhm.
has nothing to do with me. It's not a reflection on me.
Yes.
And when that DNA unfolds, you don't know what you're going to get. You can get a serial killer. You can get
Anthony,
angel. You can get
don't
anything.
scare people. You guys are not gonna get a serial
The
killer.
truth is the truth. And so when that happens, it's like, whoa, whoa.
Oh,
And then we try to push the genie back in the bottle, and
right.
you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
No, you
The
cannot.
toothpaste cannot be put back in to the
Nope.
tube.
Mm-mm.
So now you got a choice. You can
Mhm.
fight and grow apart,
Yeah.
or you can go, I got to bend too.
Yeah.
I got to be flexible. I got to grow.
Mhm.
And if you go in as a parent going, I'm not going to change. This is the way we were taught, and this is the way it is, and this is the way it's
Yeah.
going to be, then you won't have a relationship with your child.
Yeah.
You'll be right,
Yeah.
but you'll suffer.
Yeah.
So I think realizing that that's an individual,
Yes, that's
you're
good.
going to put the stuff in them, the good stuff.
Mhm.
They're going to use it when they need to use it
And how they want
and
to
how they
use it.
use it. Right. So as a
Yeah.
parent, you got to know that I did the best. I put it in there.
Mhm.
I gave it to you. Now, what you're going to do with it? It's on
Yeah.
you what you're going to do with it.
Yeah.
I can't control that.
Mhm.
Um, the next part is as a parent to realize that when your child becomes an adult, you no longer can tell them what to do. They don't want you to tell them.
Yeah.
You're more of a consultant at this
Mhm.
point,
An advisor.
an advisor.
Yeah.
Do you want my advice or do you not? Do you just want me to listen? Do you want me to get involved? Do
Mhm.
you want me to hit? You got to throw that out there to them so they don't
Yeah.
feel the sense of you intruding. You're getting invited in.
Right.
You're waiting for invitation.
Yeah.
Don't crash the party. Wait for the invite.
Right.
Um, and so that's a big part of it. And then when you give advice, consult,
Mhm.
do it from the perspective of not right or wrong.
Yeah.
Just if it was me,
Mhm.
here's what I would recommend.
Right.
But stay away from the good, bad, right, wrong. That makes it a little more harder for them to receive it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah.
Um, Something that you said, is really important when we put the good stuff in there and when they become adults. So I'm
Hmm.
talking past teenagers, right?
Right.
So we got fully developed brains. We're living our life. We're grown. We're grown.
Hmm.
You got to be real careful with your grown kids that you are not judging them.
Hmm.
A lot of adults feel very judged by their parents, right?
Hmm.
So the way that you avoid the judgment piece is what you're talking about, Anthony, is by being an advisor or a guide. You're
Hmm.
not telling them, no, don't do that. That's wrong. That's bad.
Right.
It's more of, well, why do you want to do that? What are you thinking? So that they can uh, use their own critical thinking,
Hmm.
and by you being there and listening to them and encouraging them, it helps them make decisions without feeling like you don't think I could do it. You don't believe in me.
Hmm.
You think I'm making dumb decisions, right? As soon as they feel that from the parent, they're not going to want to come to you because it
Right.
doesn't feel good. That's human nature. As soon as we feel someone doesn't like us, is judging us, is putting us down, we're not going to come to them for advice.
Hmm.
And for some reason, parents of adults think that's okay. It's like, oh,
Right.
you my kid, and you've been my kid forever. So I could tell you, you being a dum dum right now. Like, stop being a dum dum.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk to my mom about that. ever again because
Right.
she just called me a dum dum
Yeah.
or
Yeah. It's
whatever
true. Very
whatever
true.
you've
Yeah.
said. You
Mhm.
have to be aware of that. And I think as adults, we have to remind ourselves. You and I have had to do this with our adult children. Like at a certain point, they're not ours anymore. They we don't have control or say over their lives.
Right.
But we want to be part of their lives. So we want to be someone that they can come to and they know they're going to get love from us. They know that if they make a mistake, we're not going to hit them over the head with it. We're going to be like, "Well, what'd you learn?
Yeah.
What'd you learn from it? So, what are we going to try next? Or what do you want to do now?" Right? Like we're
Mhm.
not going to be like, "I can't believe you did that."
Yeah.
Um
True.
Another thing is for parents, and I've seen this a lot, you can't make your children an extension of you. Like, right? Oh, I'm making my kid go to school and get a degree because that makes me look good as a parent because that's what I did.
Right.
Right? Your kid may not want to go to school and get a degree, and that's okay.
Mhm.
You got to be okay with them creating their life.
Right.
And I think that's where parents get into, they find themselves out in the weeds with their adult children because they think, I'm just telling you what to do. And their adult child, I'm air quoting, is like, but you're telling me I'm doing it wrong and I don't want to hear that from you. I'm
Mhm.
doing my best. I'm trying to figure it out and I don't want more negativity or judgment coming from you.
Right. Very true. Very true.
Yes. So, um, I think you gave some really good tips for teenagers. I would just add for adults, just believe in them. And the way that you believe in your adult children is to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you know you put the good stuff in there,
Yeah.
then you should have faith that at some point they're going to use it. And from my experience with our adult children, that happens at about 23 years old. At about 23 years old, like this light bulb goes on, and they're like, whoa, everything you taught me, or a lot of what you taught me, or a
Mhm.
lot of the experience I had with you, I get it. Like it just is clicking now. Like, oh, I know why you taught me that. Oh, I
Yeah.
get why you said that. I get why you always used to say that. And so having faith in yourself means like, I already put it in there. I was a great example. I gave him everything I could. And I really believe this on a spiritual level, Anthony. I think you believe this. I don't know if we've discussed this, but I really believe that we choose our parents.
Mhm.
And we choose our parents as spirits because we know that they will give us the experience we need to become who we want to become in this life. And that doesn't mean that every experience we have with our parents is going to be great. Sometimes it's going to be negative because the negative stuff is going to help us become who we need to become just as much as the positive stuff.
Right.
So at the end of the day, just learn and grow and listen to your kids and say, I want to have a great relationship. It's like a
Yeah.
marriage. It's just like a marriage. You're going to have fights, you're going to have disconnects, but if you love each other and you want to work through it, you'll find a way to work through it. But your base belief has to be, I love you and we're going to work through this no matter what.
I agree. I agree. And you got to play a lot of chess,
Mhm.
not checkers.
Mm-mm.
If you're a checker playing parent, you're going to be in trouble.
You're going to
Yeah, you're
lose.
going to
You're
lose.
going to lose.
Yeah. And you got to play the long game. And I think it's also important, and it's not politically correct, but parenting is not politically correct, and life
Mm-mm.
is not politically correct.
No, it's not.
I think it's important for people to grasp the concept, both parents and child,
Mm.
that there's a difference between love and like.
Mm.
I can love you, doesn't mean I
Mhm.
have to like you.
True story.
Like is something that's kind of earned. Your love, I'm going to love you unconditionally, regardless of what you do.
Yeah.
But you can do certain things and behaviors that I'm an individual. I won't like that.
Yeah.
So I won't like those things about you. And that's okay. You have every right to be like that, but I'm just letting you know how it's affecting me. But I
Right.
still love you.
Yeah.
So you can have a relationship with your kids, especially during the rough times. That's a good perspective. So it's not like if you don't like them, all of a sudden you feel like, this is hard. Well, we're done. No, you still love them, I'd like to believe.
Yeah.
So, like, it goes up and down, it fluctuates.
Yeah.
But love is consistent, especially when it comes to your
Yes.
child. You can hate the
Yes.
things they do, hate it. It can drive you crazy.
Mhm.
But the reason it drives you crazy is because you love them.
Yes.
And so, I think that that's a good concept for kids to get. as well as parents.
Yes.
And it helps kids to realize that, to respect the parent too. That doesn't mean you can run all over me. Just
Mm-mm.
because I love you doesn't mean that I'm your doormat. It doesn't mean
Right.
you can disrespect me. I have boundaries too.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to learn to respect my boundaries. Like I'm going to learn how to respect yours.
Yes.
And yeah, that's all my tips for how to parent children,
Adult
adult
children
children.
and teens.
And if you guys think that we're pretty advanced at this, you're right. And if you guys think that we're not, you're right. Because we are still a work in progress like
Yes,
the
we
rest of you
are.
guys. That's right. And always striving to get better.
Yes, very, very true. So I want to thank all of you for hanging out with us. We really, really love and appreciate you.
Yes, yes. And if you guys haven't had a chance to grab a copy of our Amazon #1 national and international best-selling book, Crack the Code: Secrets to Achieving Your Happily Ever After, make sure you pick up a copy today, available at amazon.com. And if you guys are interested in coaching with the amazing Clarks, you can coach with us live via Zoom, no matter where you live around the globe. You can also coach with us by phone. And if you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, you can even coach with us in person. But either way, it'll all be the same. Trust me, people.
Works all the
Works all
ways.
the way. And last but not least, if you're interested in becoming a life coach or just want to learn some skills to life coach yourself or other people in your life, check out our life coach training and certification course at the Law of Attraction, lifecoachacademy.com.
And be sure to connect with us over on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Our handle is at The Amazing Clarks.
That's right. So there you go, people. We gave it to you. Now, what you going to do with it?
So remember, to go there, you got to grow there. Love the Amazing Clarks.
See you next time.
See you next time.